Hello, this is Melem.
Hi, and this is Soki, and welcome to True Crime in Texas, the English version.
Yes.
Okay, well, welcome back to the second episode that we have our English version.
Yes.
You might have listened to the Thai version already that we had earlier today, which was about the Caffey family. And that's what we're going to talk about in this version as well. So we want to say thank you for listening to our first English version. A lot of people made comments.
Yes.
Like rooting us, which was very, very nice. So we thank you for listening. And we still would love for you to please tell your friends, tell your family members, to please subscribe. That way we can keep going with this.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start.
Yes.
Ready, Mom? Okay.
Yes.
So we are in Texas.
Yes.
Still, for this episode, we will be going to Celeste, Texas, which is a very, very small city. Mm-hmm. It's less than 1,000 people in this city. Mm-hmm. And it covers a lot of groundwork. So a lot of homes are very far away from each other.
Yes.
And we will begin on the early morning of March 1st, 2008 at 2 a.m. So Terry Caffey, who is the father figure in this Caffey family, he woke up with a sound of gunshot, but he also then realized that he was being shot at. Not only him, it was also his wife that was sleeping next to him. Looking over to his wife, whose name is Penny, she was still asleep. He presumed that she was already hurt. She might have been dead already at this point. He doesn't know what was going on. He was shot a total of 5 rounds, which we found out later on that he was shot 3 in his back, a couple in his leg. He heard that a gun had jammed. But then he saw and noticed that there were 2 guys in the room, that one of them took out a sword, like a samurai sword, which is really crazy that somebody brought a sword into a home invasion, and just started stabbing his wife, Penny, that was next to him. Terry could tell that the 2 guys that were in the room that attacked them left the room. He, of course, was hurt, and he couldn't really move, but he was conscious. He could hear it. And he heard them go up the stairs where his sons and his daughter were. He has 1 daughter, who is the oldest, and 2 sons. And he heard his middle child, who is Matthew, 13-year-old Matthew, yelled, "No, Charlie, no, why are you doing this?" Now, Terry immediately understood and who Charlie was, that Matthew was referring to, but then Terry passed out. So then Terry regained consciousness. He became awake. And part of that was because he then noticed that there was smoke in his house. He could tell that the house had been set on fire. So then he needed to check on his wife and his children. He looked over his wife, and she's already passed away. She's been stabbed numerous times. Mm-hmm. He then needed to get to his children upstairs. He doesn't know what had happened to them because he had passed out. But there was too much fire in that house. He needs to figure out how to get out of the house. You know, there's a lot of smoke. He could feel the heat. The only way he could get out of the house was through the bathroom window, which is what he did. So he crawled through the bathroom window, through the woods, to his neighbor's house, because he needed to get help. So his neighbor, whose name is Tommy Gaston, helped out Terry by calling 911. Now, that took 2 hours from the time that he woke up again to crawling out the window to finally getting to the neighbors. So when the police and the ambulance and the firefighters came, they took Terry to a hospital in a nearby city called Tyler, Texas. And In and out of consciousness, Terry did tell the police that he heard his son Matthew yelling out, "No, Charlie, no, why are you doing this?" So within 3 hours after Terry told the police that, 3 people were arrested. Charlie Wilkinson, 18-year-old, senior in high school, along with his friend, Charles Wade, who's a 20-year-old, and Charles Wade's 18-year-old girlfriend, Bobby Gail Johnson. So those 3 were arrested. Once they were arrested, they immediately told the police. Erin Caffey, who is a daughter,
Was
mastermind. The mastermind of this whole crime spree that they did tonight. Erin, who was later found in Charlie's brother's trailer, hidden in Charlie's room, really gross room. She was hiding in there. The police found her there, and then she suddenly claimed that she had been kidnapped, and she had been held hostage there in that trailer. And that's why they were able to catch Charlie, Charles, and the girlfriend. So now the police also told Terry, the dad, who's been hurt, who's in the hospital, that, by the way, your daughter, Erin Caffey, was the mastermind of this whole event tonight. I think we should go ahead and get to know the Caffey family a little bit. The Caffey family moved from Alba, Texas to Celeste, Texas to be closer to their Baptist church. They're a very conservative family, and the whole entire family is involved in their church. Terry was working his way to become the minister of that Baptist church that they moved closer to. He also had another job, but he was definitely focusing on being a minister there. His wife, Penny, she's a seamstress, and she was actually very involved in the church as well. The whole family is involved in this church. Penny, the mother, she played the piano. Erin, the oldest, 16, she was a vocalist. She sang in her church, and she was very good. A lot of people loved her singing. Matthew, who was 13, played the harmonica, and 8-year-old Tyler played the guitar. So this family, their children were homeschooled, and they were very kind of isolated in their homes. But when Erin turned 16, they decided, okay, the kids can go back to public school. Erin also wanted to get a job. She wanted to be out, get to know people, have friends. So she got a job, a part-time job at a Sonic. So she worked at Sonic. Sonic is a fast food, kind of a drive-in fast food burger sandwich place where you pull up to a parking spot, you can order at their screen, and somebody on skates. Well, some places they don't have skates, but a lot of times they wear skates and they'll bring the food to you. But Erin worked there part-time. She was 16 years old. And that is where Erin met Charlie Wilkinson, who was 18 and a senior in high school. And they started dating pretty quickly. They became attached to each other pretty quickly. Charlie was actually just an overall normal high school kid. He didn't get into a lot of trouble. He didn't have any issues really in school. He was known for being hot-tempered.
For a high school.
Yeah,
boy.
he's like a regular high school kid. But once they get together, they fell in love with each other pretty fast. Well, high school love. After dating a few months, Charlie presented Erin with his grandma's engagement ring. So he gave Erin kind of like a promise ring, like, hey, well, I want to be together with you forever.
Married you.
I guess. So, of course, Erin was delighted. She's so excited that this happened. And, of course, her conservative parents did not approve of this at all. Did not approve of them dating or anything like that. It got to the point to where Erin was allowed to see Charlie once a week, supervised, and he had to leave by 9 p.m. So after just a little bit later, after he gave her the ring, Erin broke curfew. She wasn't allowed to talk to Charlie after 9 o'clock. She was caught talking to him on the phone, and then her parents took her phone away. And this made Erin angry. She was really, really angry about it.
After she was grounded, 2 days it happened.
2 days. Even though reports says that Erin has been planning to kill her parents way before this grounded incident. She already knew her parents didn't approve of their relationship, so Erin was already planning things in her head
for the whole month of
for the
February.
whole month, right? So on that particular day, on March 1st, 2008 at 2 a.m., Erin ran out of her house in her pajamas to meet with the group. And the group in the car was Charlie Wilkinson, Charles, and his girlfriend, Bobby. Mm-hmm. And then at this moment, many reports, even Malam said it in the Thai version, this was a moment when a lot of things could have changed. You know, somebody in that car, the 4 people in that car, especially Erin, could have changed that whole entire night. Somebody could have said, let's not do this. Or Erin could have been like, this was a mistake. I can't, let's not do this. But it did happen. The 2 guys, the 2 boys, went into the house with a .22 pistol and a samurai sword, which I think was ridiculous, and attacked Penny, attacked Terry, and went upstairs to attack Matthew and Tyler. And on top of that, Charles Wade, the friend with the samurai sword, was actually told by Charlie and by Erin that he would get $2,000 for helping him with this crime. That's really sad for this is at one point Charlie did tell Erin that, hey, instead of killing your parents, why don't we just run away together? Get away from this place. And Erin said, no, I want to kill my parents. That's what she said. She wants to get it done. So before going into the house to attack the family, realizing that her 2 brothers were in the house, Charlie again asked Erin, hey, if I go in there, I have to attack your brothers as well, because they will be witnesses. And Erin, of course, replied, Mom, what did she say?
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. She didn't care.
I don't care.
Yep. She said she didn't care. Just do whatever you want. And Charlie, who's never been in trouble, says, okay, and did it, which I don't ever will understand that.
The stupid kid.
Yeah, they're kids, but they're even stupider kids. These guys were arrested pretty quickly because the 3 people arrested definitely pointed to Erin, that she was the mastermind in all of this. Even though Charlie and Charles were the one that pulled the triggers or swung the sword, Erin was the main mastermind. So there wasn't much more investigation that they had to do because they keep saying that Erin was a mastermind. And she continued to this day that denying that she was the mastermind. But both guys were convicted with life sentences without possibility of parole. They were supposed to have the death penalty because we are in the state of Texas.
This is Texas.
Right. But the father, Terry Caffey, actually asked the court to convert their death penalty into life sentences. So they were able to do that. He pretty much said, there's so many lives lost already. At least these guys can just serve life in prison. Erin Caffey, who was 16 years old at the time of the crime, she was convicted of capital murder. Erin was sentenced to life in prison, but she will be able to apply for parole about 40 years later.
Yes.
Where she will be, 56 years old, 59 years old. The 4th person that got sentenced, which is the girlfriend that sat in the car the whole time.
In the car.
Even though she knew everything that was happening. She was also another person who could say, hey, no, we should not do this. Or she could call the police even before that day when they already knew about the crime. They already talked about the crime. She could have called the police. She could do so many things. And that's why she was sentenced to 2 consecutive 40-year sentences. So she will be in prison for a long time as well. But she'll be eligible for parole after, you said, 24 years.
Erin has another boyfriend before.
Right. She had a boyfriend before Charlie Wilkinson. His name was Michael Washburn, and he actually, during the trial, testified against Erin, saying that she had mentioned to Michael that I want to kill my parents as well. She already thought of all this before the crime that happened in March. So after all is said and done, Terry still visits his daughter in prison. About every other month, he still sees his daughter, even though she was the one that masterminded the whole crime that lost his whole entire family. But he forgives her. He talks about that a lot, actually.
And he's always said, I love you.
Yeah. She made a huge, horrible mistake when she's 16, and she has to think about it for the rest of her life in prison. But at least she still has her dad.
Yeah, beside her.
Right. But he really he has his daughter, but that's it. He remarried already, and he actually remarried twice. The second marriage, he has a son also. But that is it of today for True Crime in Texas.
The Caffey family.
For the Caffey family. Thank you for listening to our English version. Yes. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.